We get cranked up here today. It is just the weather's is always the lead story when it gets this stupid outside, and it is stupid right now. The current temperature is officially at about 95 at this hour and climbing. The high could be 96, 97, depending on where you are by the end of the day. Heat index is around 106 and climbing. Some of the models have it going to 110 this afternoon. So I know it sounds like it sounds paternalistic, but I'm going to say it again anyway. Be careful out there. I'm watching this young man who I'm pretty certain is from south of the border out here getting our shrubbery under control. He's been working by himself out there for the longest, doing all this work. Same kind of stuff I've been doing at my own house since then, and it can overcome you in a minute. So just look out for all that. AJ, this is those times I'm glad we have a lazy indoor job.
Yes.
You doing all right?
I'm doing good. Yeah, you know, you look out the window, it's like, ooh, he looks hot out there. As I'm sitting here,
This is most of what we're going to do. Most we're going to do is look at the thermometer and go, wow, it is really hot right now.
It's really hot out there.
Even though this fancy digital thermometer that they put here in the studio, I guess years ago, they put this thing up. I thought, woo, we big time now. It says it's 37 degrees.
Yeah, it's been like that for the past couple of years.
But it somehow knows that it's July 28th. So did I just say it was July 28th? Or is it almost August? Good
Yes.
Lord. All right. I'm just going to start with, I guess, the thing that's been in my face all day, and that is this Lindsey Graham funeral memorial ceremony. It just has gone on. AJ, I'm not complaining because the man's dead, but we've had a minute to get over it. Y'all, they have gone on about Lindsey Graham live on TV today for 6 straight hours. I mean, it's not like this guy was the president. And I know he was a big personality. I've interviewed him a couple times, a big, grand personality on the stage. I could come and go with Lindsey Graham. Let's just talk about the Senate for a little bit because we got a lot of stories involving this chamber. But you've got all these national people that are coming and going from these memorials, and they're still doing his funeral. I guess they had a memorial today at the Capitol and then the funeral, all the state pomp and circumstance. And look, he'd been in the Senate for a long time, but are we going to do this for all the senators? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm going to go ahead and throw this on the table. Call me rude. I don't care. We may be doing this any day now for Mitch McConnell. And let me tell you what's just happened this afternoon that's kind of surprising in some ways, especially while the Lindsey Graham thing is still going on. The governor of the state of Kentucky, who's a Democrat, by the way, has put out a public letter demanding that his senator from his state put out a public response as to whether he is capable of doing this job and do it soon or step down and get out of the way. Now, isn't that fascinating? Now, the Senate and the House in the state of Kentucky, and I'm a little bit lost on how it will go, but they changed the replacement rule in Kentucky. So if McConnell takes a dirt nap, I don't think Beshear can just nominate a Democrat because he's a Democrat. Usually it's at the governor's pleasure to nominate somebody to finish out the term. But the letter was pretty stark, and it's also coming from Republicans who are kind of fed up with this whole McConnell machine anyway. So let me just read this for you. Again, I don't know much about Beshear. I don't know how Kentucky keeps electing Democrats, but they do. Kentucky's a weird state that way. And, of course, Rand Paul is from that state, and he's in the spotlight today and tomorrow, too, in the most dramatic way. So let's just break it all down. We'll just dive right into politics today instead of banter. So the governor writes, it has now been 43 days since news of your hospitalization. During that time, you have cast 0 votes, engaged in no official activities, and aside from 2 photos and corresponding statements, have made no effort to communicate with your Kentucky constituents or the nation. Even attending the physician's written statement does not discuss your actual condition, including whether you can speak, reason, or carry out your duties as a senator. I understand anyone's desire for privacy, but when you run for office and serve the state as one of 2 U.S. senators, you willingly abdicate much of your personal privacy. That's the deal, and we all know it when we run. Man, it goes on. It blisters not just McConnell because we think he's comatose or dead, but it blisters his whole team. And in some ways, it's a jab at the Republicans for being so silent about it. And then that swerves right into the Joe Biden stuff. Where was the governor's outrage over Joe Biden during his presidency? This damn man was allegedly the president of this country, which we all know he actually wasn't. He didn't win the election, and he didn't actually serve. He had a team of people pretending to serve for him. What a scam. And so back to – and by the way, there are tapes out today from the guy that wrote Biden's memoirs. He's admitting on the video – he's admitting on the tapes that he had classified information in his possession. He did this before he got busted, and now all that scam is back out in the public. Fauci's in the public. It's a crazy time for a scandal. Anyway, back to McConnell. So while we're sitting here trying to have a funeral, and Trump is – I think Trump's already spoken, but the vice president's there, the president's there, big national memorial for this popular senator. We've got another one that's either comatose or dead or hiding, and now I guess it would be considered a partisan shot to tell him to get out in public. We need proof of life or we're going to assume you're dead. How about that? What a dynamic. So we'll wait and see what happens with the McConnell people, if they're going to put a response out or not. Lots of just gamesmanship, because here we are. Let's talk about this for a minute. Here we are about to go into this August recess. And while the senators are all sitting there, they've all found Jesus today, by the way. They all found Jesus. We always do that at funerals, right? A lot of prayer, a lot of quoting of Scripture. They won't let you do it any other time now in America. It's considered uncouth. But, yeah, man, I did hear the Old Rugged Cross today. One of the songs they played was the Old Rugged Cross. That was my dad's favorite. Hey, that reminds me of my daddy. They played Old Rugged Cross, man. That's an old classic Southern gospel song. So while we're sitting here watching all these people memorialize Lindsey Graham, you've got all this pot shots and everything being taken behind the scene and directed toward John Thune. Let's explain. So Thune is allowing the Senate to leave on recess. And Senator Mike Lee has decided to take a stand and stay in town. And he's inviting other senators to stay in town. In other words, saying, we're here. We're ready to vote on the SAVE Act. Come on, let's all stay home. Well, I'm proud to report that two of our senators, our two senators, both Katie Britt and Tommy Tuberville, have joined Mike Lee in the call to stay in Washington. So good for them. Good for both of them. I've been on their cases a lot lately, but good for both of them. Now, whether they mean it or not is another thing. But if they're going to commit to it, I'm for that. We can't besmirch that. So I hope they will stay in and be serious instead of taking 30 days off the entire month of August while so many things are in jeopardy. And I still think it's functionally too late for the SAVE Act to be meaningful. At this point, it's just a battle of wills. So Thune is refusing to cave. McConnell's on his deathbed or already dead. You got the governor calling them out. They're burying another guy who just got replaced by his sister. And there's a little bit of a rebellion amongst the Republican Party. At least 7 senators, as of this hour, decided they're going to stay in D.C. The drama coming out of the United States Senate. We will continue to monitor that whole deal because it's going to be fits and starts as the day goes on. But that is exactly what's going on in the moment as we continue to watch all the live coverage of the Graham Memorial. Now, let me back up just a little bit and deal with the story that occupied us toward the end of the show yesterday. They've still got streets blocked off in downtown Birmingham from that gas smell. It's not really a leak, I guess, but the heavy presence of some kind of gas downtown Birmingham. And some of those people have not been able to go back to their apartments or houses and businesses in this several block area. The suspicion, as of the last report that I was able to find, is that somehow this is some secret underground gasoline tank that was not, quote, registered. It's not on the records anywhere, but they think that's what they picked up on. I don't think, unless something's changed in the last 2 hours, that they found this tank. Yesterday I was speculating a little bit about this because I remember in the past some story. I want to say it was downtown Birmingham where some business was dumping fuel down into the sewer system. Yesterday, we learned the sewers are running too fast right now with all the rain for that presence to be built up if somebody were doing that. So we know it's not. We know it's not Spire. We know it's not Southern Natural Gas. Those guys have done a good job of being down there and turning things off to eliminate those possibilities. And so now apparently they've narrowed it down to a potential off the books underground storage tank of some type, whether it was being actively used or whether somebody had that thing down there years ago and it's just begun to leak. But it is a hazardous situation, and they're still working on it as of this hour, and that's still going to be a traffic workaround if you're going downtown. So we got all those things going on, still walking through. Now let's go back to Kentucky. Let me go back to the Senate for a minute. Tomorrow is Fauci Day, and I've got my Orville Redenbacher. Is there a better popcorn than that, AJ? Remember Jiffy Pop in the little aluminum pans? Maybe I should go old school Jiffy Pop.
Yeah, Jiffy Pop. The don't you put it like on the heat and it just pops up in that aluminum foil?
You used to put it in the oven and it would blow up, like just swell up. And then there'd be all these old hard pieces in the bottom. But that's what it was before microwave popcorn. Kids, y'all don't know anything about it. Even before that, you buy the seeds in the oil. You remember that? There'd be a jar with the seeds and it was all in the oil and you just put it in there and just pop. Popcorn Day tomorrow. And let me just say this about Rand Paul. We were just talking about the other senator from Kentucky being, weekend at Bernie's again. How many times are we going to do that? Let me just rant for a second. Alabama, let me just be real with y'all. We're doing it right now with our governor. I mean, Cavi's not wheelchair bound or anything. We think she's still alive, but we are sort of faking an administration to coax her all the way to January. It's just true. We've done it with Dianne Feinstein of late. We've just done it, of course, with Joe Biden. We're seeing it right now with Mitch McConnell. I can keep going. At some point, these politicians don't have the decency to step aside when it's time to step aside. They've got their egos are too big to do the right thing and put the country first. They just are. Some of it's tactical. They're trying to hold on to these seats. But in some cases, it wouldn't be a switch in partisanship. They should just do the right thing, but they won't do it. And that leads me to Rand Paul. Let's talk about Rand Paul. So Rand Paul, I'm going to give him credit. Sometimes I get upset with Rand because he's got some odd takes and he'll go sideways on some weird issues. But he has been an absolute pit bull on the issue of Dr. Fauci defrauding this country and committing all kinds of atrocious acts and deceiving the public. He deceived the two presidents, probably more than that over his career. But this whole country is worse off for this man's behavior and his ego. All of this has come spilling out into the public with his diaries. The coverage has been replete, except for the main news networks that were part of his Kool-Aid drinking cult during the COVID days have yet to fess up. There have been a lot of comparisons to Jim Jones. Jim Jones looks like a Sunday school picnic director compared to what Fauci did to this country. But if Jim Jones, there had to be several components. You had Jim Jones himself, and then you had the people that handed out the Kool-Aid knowing that what they were handing out, and then you had people that drank the Kool-Aid. We got all that in the Fauci story. There's some people that drank that damn Kool-Aid so much, they're still running around with masks on. I saw a couple of them last weekend. I'm still stunned by that and sad for these people. But the people that handed out the Kool-Aid, the people that said, here, drink this, were the mainstream media, and they have yet to really dig into this story. And even though tomorrow it goes front and center because Fauci has to go back to Congress and sit down in front of Rand Paul, who has been right the whole time about Fauci. Without him, this does not get smoked out. And there are more documents that have been released today. One of them shows Fauci had actually an issue with his heart, very serious issue with his heart, that they hid from the public right after he got vaccinated, which is one of the side effects of the vaccine. And Fauci, in an effort to stay on the Pfizer payroll, I guess, hid his own personal health, in addition to his thoughts on what was really going on, which we've always believed, and now we've got validated by his Dear Diary entries. What a jackass. So this old fart goes in front of Rand Paul tomorrow. So I want to applaud Rand Paul for not giving up, staying on this and showing some leadership. He's almost been a one-man wrecking machine on this issue, and I cannot wait for tomorrow. Now, back to the egos of the senators. You've got these old senators that won't step down, that won't step aside. They have to get voted out like Cornyn, who's still bitter and dragging his ass around Washington. By the way, he was bitching to the media that these upstarts are trying to stay in town for the recess, and he just wants to go back to Texas. What a jackass as well. I'm on some Republicans today. But here's how it'll go tomorrow, and I'm going to go ahead and predict it. These people's egos are too damn big for them to actually pin Fauci down. They won't coordinate their questioning strategy. They're all going to freestyle it. Most of them are terrible interrogators, even the ones with legal backgrounds. They're awful at asking questions because they're showboating. They're staging their moment. They all want to be celebrities. Every damn one of them thinks they're a celebrity. If they were smart, they'd coordinate their strategy and keep the sequence of questioning going in one line every time Fauci has to answer the next 5 minutes. Let the Democrats try to put a Band-Aid on him after each, when they get their 5 minutes, and give him a little back rub and then go back at him again. Instead, they're going to do their own thing. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be unwatchable. It'll be all over the place. We'll get 2 30-second sound bites of action. That'll be it. And legally, it won't matter. I don't think that I've never seen a Senate hearing or a House hearing turn into anything of real consequence. Just some embarrassing moments. That's what we're left with our national leadership. Man, I got a lot to talk about today. It's Tuesday. It's hot, and we got more headlines in addition to that. This is a crazy time to be living in America. We've got more on that coming up. Your phone calls, too. I'm back in the studio. AJ and I in the same room for the first time in 2 months.
I know.
Here we are. We'll see how it goes. 545-9950 Leland Live. Stay tuned. All right, y'all, 227. Let's get cranked up by telling you about Lania's Furniture Company. I'm excited we're going to be able to do a show over there late next month. Details on that coming down the road. But what a fine place to go get your home outfitted. As I don't know about you, but now that I'm kind of this part of summer, I am just 100% trying to get the whole house whipped into shape because I want to relax when the fall season comes and we got family coming for all the holiday gatherings and I guess football season, all the stuff we do in the fall. And so part of that is on the inside. Clearly, Lonnie's Furniture Company has all the selection in the world you could possibly imagine to get you outfitted. And if you're willing to wait, if you want a custom order because of something specific you want, or they don't have exactly what you need, they've got so many options for that. Going directly to the manufacturers or using their Bassett sort of studio workshop where you can just design your own furniture through Bassett. Even the Stressless line, that very high-end line of ergonomic furniture, they've got a whole way for you to very much customize those pieces. All that stuff, expert design help inside the home, outside the home as well. And don't forget that Green Country outdoor furniture line that is just remarkable. I just hosed mine off the other day. I had 8 inches of grass. I think it was even taller than that. And once I cut all the grass and moved those things back into place, hit them with a hose, they look like they're brand new. I've had them for almost 7 years. Very durable furniture for outside as well. Reggie and the whole team at Lania's Furniture Company. By the way, they've got special financing now, and it's the longest term financing they've ever had. It's 48 months. Basically, I guess we used to call it same as cash. It's interest-free for 48 months. As long as you make the payment. There's some caveats. You got to have good credit. You got to spend a minimal amount, and you've got to be able to make the payments. But outside of that, no interest for you. That's a pretty good incentive. Y'all, it's Lania's Furniture Company, Launius, Lania'sFurnitureCompany.com. We got a lot of things to get into, including a story. I don't have many details about it, but there's apparently suspicion that a black bear is running around Shelby County. We do see them from time to time. They are in this part of the country. Mm-hmm. I bought $100 worth of bear spray while I was out west and never got to use it once. I'm ready. I'm loaded. You need some? I got an extra can. It's like a little fire hydrant. You put it on your waist. You can hit that bear in the face with some cayenne or whatever's in there. I don't even know what's in there. Okay, bottom of the hour, back in a minute. Leland Live. Y'all stay tuned. Again, your phone calls at 545-9950. Stay tuned. It's 2:34, Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Y'all stay cool out there. The temperature's still going up, and could be, by the end of the day, recorded as the hottest day so far this year, but we'll keep watching it this afternoon. Just a little reminder. Also, let me tell you about the Knowles Group stock market. Despite all the turbulence overseas, Dow is way up today. The NASDAQ's down a little bit. All this is in relation to the up again, down again situation with the Iran war. We have had a cessation in our bombing for now 4 days straight, and oil prices seem to be absorbing it again. They were shooting up for a minute. That led to an increase at the pump, but now they've seemed to have stabilized with this hope that once again, it's like Groundhog Day. We'll have some kind of breakthrough in negotiations. The effort continues in that part. We'll talk more about that later if there are any other developments on it. But meantime, my man Danny Knowles with the Knowles Group ready to advise you in a different way than I would. I would freak you out with headlines, and you'd go pull all your money out of the stock market. You'd put it in a mason jar and bury it in the backyard if you listen to me long enough. I watched an apocalyptic movie last night, one of those EMP hits. Everybody's trying to fight for survival kind of movies. Why do I love that so much? Because it makes you think, what would I do? What would I do? Anyway, it's a pretty good movie. It was on Angel Studios, one of their network channels or whatever. But Danny, it's a whole different approach. They believe in the future. They believe you're going to be able to retire one day, and they'd love for your money to be working for you. And they've got plans for everybody's scenario. We're all different. We're coming at it with different amounts of money, different lifestyles that we need, different timelines. Some of you don't know. You don't know how much money you need or what age you should consider it. And that's why you get professional advice. And my introduction is my lifelong friend, Danny Knowles, because I just know he's a good dude that'll tell you the truth. And he has been really, really successful for people in this audience and honestly for folks back home as well that we all grew up with. Danny is their advisor, and he and his sons do such a great job. And, of course, they have a great show on the weekends. It's really informative. I mean, there are a lot of financial shows on the weekends, different places, but theirs is particularly stands out to me. I like the way they do that. It's the KnowlesGroup.com. If you need some advice, if you need a pay raise on your retirement funds, it's the Knowles Group, N-O-L-E-S, the KnowlesGroup.com. Danny Knowles and the Knowles family at the Knowles Group. All right, man, we already got calls coming in here. First one's about the bear. Let's deal with that first, and then we'll go back to this Fauci nonsense. George, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing well.
Yeah, I live at Eagle Point, not too far from where you are, and my wife received a video from a friend whose next-door neighbor in the subdivision had a big old bear walking in the backyard. And then last night on the Facebook page, somebody else saw a big old bear walking in their yard. So there's one roaming around Eagle Point.
All right, so that's right over the hill for me, basically.
Right.
They do roam this far south now. I know down in the Florida Panhandle, through extended family, we visit a neighborhood down there a lot, and they've got one of those community neighborhood posts, and those black bears will get. They have whole reserves for them down there in those natural areas. But they'll get in the trash every single night, man. They'll get out there, and they seem almost harmless. It's usually a mama and some cubs. Last time my wife and crew were down there, they saw a mama with 3 cubs. So this one seems to be alone. It doesn't seem to be having any babies following it around.
Not the video I saw, and we're kind of backed up to Oak Mountain State Park. Part of the subdivision is that's our backyard, so that's probably where they're strolling in from.
Exactly, because they got room to move.
Keep a heads up.
All right, brother. At least I know where it is now, George. I just saw the headline that Shelby County black bear, and I was like, what?
Yeah, supposedly there was one seen down by the Shelby County Library.
Yep. Oh, that's pretty far down. Yeah, that's pretty far down 119.
No, to scare a black bear, all you need is a Karen and a cell phone, and tell it that she's calling the cops.
So AJ's making the black bear jokes. Go ahead, AJ. Are we supposed to be saying African American bear? I'm just not sure.
Just saying. Just get you a Karen with a nice little bob haircut.
Yeah.
She was very homely. With a mad attitude. Just say, "Do you belong here?"
There's so many jokes. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to let you have the racial component. I will say this, though, having just been in bear country. And by the way, there's a story today in Glacier National Park, which I did get to visit 2-3 years ago, way up there in Montana. Had a person mauled by a bear who they believe what happened. This person was hiking. I never understand why people do this. These are going to be my people, AJ. This is the whitest white thing ever. Hiking alone early in the morning in the dark in Glacier, probably moving pretty fast too, with one of those headlamps or whatever. Startled the bear. The bear mauled him to death. Don't be going out alone. I mean, there are bear signs everywhere, and bear trash cans where the bears can't get in them. You almost can't go anywhere once you get to Wyoming back into Montana without bear warnings. So naturally, I'd given away my bear spray from the last time I bought some. So AJ bought me 2 cans of it. That stuff's expensive.
Did you have like on both sides, like on your hip?
Double clutching. See, I had a partner this time, so she had one and I had one.
Right.
One time I did it on both sides, both sides of my backpack.
Do you feel lucky?
I don't know which one. I'm in the wild. I got my cowboy hat on. Like, you want to slap leather with me, bear? So,
number space number 2 today.
No, don't be. The other thing is as we talk about our cultural differences, don't be trash talking the bear, man. You ain't gonna talk about the bear's mama and get him to laugh and get. You can't diffuse the situation if you piss the bear off.
Right.
But what I was gonna say is the difference is out there are grizzlies. I mean, they got brown bears and grizzlies, which make the little black bears that run around here look like teddy bears. Now, black bears can be dangerous, but they're skittish. They don't want to fool with you. They don't want anything to do with you. If you come across a black bear, generally, they're gonna go, "I don't know your ass," and they're gone. I mean, they're going into the woods. They're going to take care, unless you're threatening their offspring. But those damn grizzlies, man. Have you ever seen a stuffed grizzly? Well, I had one I had one on the camera when we were at Wall Drug that day in South Dakota. They had a stuffed one that was had his paws up. He was in a cage. These things are massive. And there's a sort of a scale of the danger level with these things based on size and speed. But yeah, you do have to watch out for them. And so we now got a famous Shelby County black bear running around freaking people out on their cameras. You know, the thing is, they've probably always been around us. They'll see us before we see them generally. And we're just knowing it now because there's cameras everywhere. But I'm going to go ahead and admit, I probably have 10 cameras around my property all over the place. If I saw one on my camera, I'd have the heebie-jeebies. I did find some bear poop on my property right after I bought it one time, though.
Oh, really?
So it's very distinct. It's kind of round balls. It was like a little stack of cannonballs. I ran across it when I was in the woods doing something. I was like, that is not deer poop.
Yeah.
It was decidedly bear poop. But I've never seen one in the wild. You
still bought the property.
Huh?
You still bought the property. I would have been like,
of course I did.
Yeah.
I was like, this will scare all the a-holes away. I'm going to live out here where they're too scared to come anywhere near me. As I get older, AJ, I'm anti-a-hole. We got a lot of them in our society nowadays. David is up next. Let's keep going with the phone calls, 545-9950. David, what's up, buddy?
Hey, sir, second-time caller. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can. Keep going, David.
Okay, great. I'm on speakerphone. I got some information here that I was trying to pull together and finish this out.
Okay.
I'm going to be, man, hey, you said stay cool. I can't. I'm so hot over this Fauci stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just enough. But something I retained and heard a while back, Wikipedia. Actually, I'll do that right now and show you what I come up with. Who do you think his wife is? Being how he is and acting right now, they kept it in the family. She, in 2025, I don't have my glasses on, resigned from her role in the National Institutes of Health. And I found that was pretty surprising, you know. So, yeah, she was probably over there at Wuhan when all that was going down.
You mean Fauci's wife?
Yes, it's in Wikipedia.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that he would be married to somebody in the same field. That's not a big surprise. And just because you're within age doesn't mean you're hanging out in China.
Well, get this in 2026, she now is a research scholar at the Kennedy Institute of Ethics.
That's ironic. Is it?
Yeah,
ironic?
Really, right?
Yeah, no
Hey, you know, maybe this will be the prosecution we need, you know, start setting an example. But I think Fauci and Jack Smith need to be cellmates somewhere.
Yeah, I think they need to be hanging side by side from a short rope in a tall tree in the middle of the Washington Mall, to be honest with you. I'm a little medieval about this stuff. These people have done crimes against, even Jack Smith, not so much. He's just been abusive. But Fauci killed people. His advice and his ego killed people. That's not an exaggeration. This man has death on his hands. He could be one of the most dangerous people in the 21st century. I mean, that is not outside of Putin. I'm trying to think of other people that at their direction, because of the power they were in, people died underneath their leadership. In modern times, Fauci's right up there, at least in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, he needs war crimes for that, I think. But yeah, man, the families that lost loved ones and friends, it's we need to be morally, ethically correct, be Christians, and just do the right thing. Like Republicans say, it's just common sense.
Thank you, David. And think about the human part of this for a minute. And I'm not just trying to play on emotion. That's the Democrats' game. Run on emotion and say a bunch of crazy stuff and believe in a bunch of stupid stuff because you're caught up in yourself. I need facts. I need reason. I need an evidence pattern generally before I'll conclude a lot of stuff. And with Fauci, you've got that. You don't even need to invoke all the personal pain he put the country through. Again, at the expense of us, he treated himself to fame and fortune and lied to us all about the origins of it, the response to it, what we should be doing about it. He just made fools out of a lot of people, and a lot of gullible people, especially leftists and Democrats and media people. He made fools out of those people. If I were them, I'd be the most pissed. It's like I get more pissed at Republicans than I do Democrats nowadays because they're the ones that I have hope in. You know, they're the ones that I'm defending at times, and then they let me down. Well, you turn around. If I were one of these media people, I think I would just rake him over the coals and put some distance. But right now they've got amnesia. They're pretending like it didn't happen. They're moving on to something else. But back to the emotional part. Some of you know people that could not be with their loved ones in a hospital when they died. There was almost a full year where that stupidity, the shutdown theory, again, predicated on a bioweapon that he was funding that got out, whether intentionally or not, and he understood everything about it the minute the news broke and deceived this whole country in thinking it came from a wet market, thinking it was a natural occurrence. I mean, remember, and then he admits in his diaries that it was the same thing as the flu, and then you go back and look at the numbers, and the flu disappeared, and all the COVID cases had the same hospitalization and death rate as a flu. It was kind of a flu, but we responded to it as if it was just Ebola and shut things down. We had stupid kids sitting around in bubble tents playing saxophones at band practice. You remember that? Plexiglass was going to stop a microbiology weapon, plexiglass. We just did whatever we had to do to pretend to go along with the advice, and he was doling it out. And then turning around years later and saying, well, I never said that this shut anything down. And in his diaries, he's talking about all the mayors and governors he called to tell them to shut down. If you remember, Trump's policy was the federal government's not going to create an alarm from our level. When Trump was president, we'll let the governors decide. And we watched that play out. And so DeSantis became a rock star. Kristi Noem got into national recognition for keeping her state open and letting her people be free. I had to go to Florida to get away from Alabama so I could get some air with Kay Ivey's stupidity. She followed a lot of bureaucratic stupidity as well, and then scolded us. Remember when she blamed people that wouldn't get the vaccine for us not being able to reopen? There's so much manipulation going on, either from them or they were just naive and trusting of this one person where he was the nexus of all of it. And so I had my first grandchild was born, and I couldn't go in the hospital. I stood around in a parking lot in Dallas, Texas, waiting for the news that he was born. Many of you went through the same thing. So as a family, we didn't get to gather in the waiting room and look through the window when he came along. We had to stand in a hot-ass parking lot waiting on the news. There was another family member who died, and without saying too much, this person had comorbidities, came down with COVID. It's debatable as to what actually took his life. But in that moment, only 2 family members could go in UAB hospital to say goodbye before he left. Those are just examples I can give you from my family. And this son of a bitch didn't care. He was meeting, how about this? He was meeting with Jake Tapper for dinner at Jake Tapper's house. And then just a few days later told you not to have Thanksgiving. So some of y'all abandon your family tradition. And how many of y'all was that the last time you would have seen Aunt Marie? I'm just making stuff up now. That was the last time you would have seen Pawpaw because he didn't live to the next Thanksgiving, and you missed it because this arrogant prick decided he was better than you, just like Gavin Newsom going to the French Laundry out in California, and Christine Whitmer, Governor Bruce Jenner up there in Michigan, going on boat rides with her husband when you were told not to be on the open water because somehow that was dangerous. And there were those of us that none of it ever made sense. And luckily, I'm on the record. I mean, because I spent days screaming till I had like a vein popping out of my forehead of how stupid we were being. And then you get forced by your employer. How many people lost their jobs because their employers bought into the advice and because they wouldn't get a shot? We had people here that work for us that no longer work here because they weren't going to go along with the shots. And they're gone. People changed careers. It had such an impact. You got kids right now that are stupider because they missed basically a year and a half of education, direct in-school learning, and of course the remote learning was a joke the whole time anyway. That's all the test scores are coming out, and the arrested development, so to speak, of that generation of kids is going to matriculate all the way through high school. If they were in what has that been, 6 years ago? If they were in the 6th grade, these kids are just graduating high school, and they're dumb as a bag of hammers because they never caught up, and our K through 12 system's not capable of catching them up. Boy, I can keep going to the consequences. Businesses gone. Some restaurants couldn't survive it. Fake businesses received billions in money. The businesses that didn't exist before the shutdown, they got handed cash. They just make up a business, get those loans that were forgivable, and took the cash. We're still paying for that, inflation from that, interest on the debt from that. It just keeps going. And so you had illegitimate businesses getting rich, or people getting rich, faking businesses, actual businesses going out, and all does it trace right back to Fauci. All of it, all the decision-making, all of the policy, the top-down groupthink that just rained down on this country like the stupidest thing we've ever been through. You think of how deceived we were. Let me just preach for another minute, then we'll go to the phones. Within about a 2-year span, this is what we lived through as a country. I will never forget it. I'll bitch about it till they got me on the back porch playing shuffleboard at the Shady Pines. I mean, first you had the BLM stuff. We now find out that was Chinese funding. You get these idiots that will take any dumb headline, get emotional about it, get in the streets and burn things down. They did that to disrupt. They interjected the transgender debate, which is completely phony. We were still dealing with the phoniness of climate change. It's been a scam for 20-something years. So public policy being made around complete and total utter nonsense scams. Then they came at us with a stolen election that they use the pandemic to create the loose rules to steal the election. And then they had to shut down the election because they didn't steal it enough and steal it some more in the dark of night till they finally stole it. And then when they did finally steal it, all hell breaks loose. And then they stagecraft January 6th. And some dupes fell into that, creating a national scandal. Then they completely manufactured after that all of the lawfare, all of the stuff against Trump, just completely made it up. All the while they were throwing that stuff at us, made up investigations, made up impeachment efforts against Trump, made up public policy over this fake scandal, forcing people to inject genetic modified, untested things into their body because of your employer or whoever down the food chain. Everybody getting in line. Be a good citizen and do what you're told. Man, we've been warned about that since this country was founded. And while we were going through all that, we had a fake president. This son of a bitch couldn't even walk through the White House without an instructor. He wasn't running anything. We had a little secret committee signing pardons and auto-pinning everything and making up stuff and putting him out there like a Roomba to walk into stuff and just making up a whole presidency. They faked that presidency until that old fart stood in front of the country during the debate and it all came unglued on him. And then they had to pretend Kamala Harris had 2 brain cells to rub together to start a fire. They had to fake that for several months until she came crashing down. Can you imagine where we'd be if they were still anywhere near power to keep doing these things. And here's the warning, and I got to go. They'll be doing them again soon because Trump's only got 2.5 years left. They ain't a Republican out there that will have his fight, and it'll be back to the same old gamesmanship and phony stuff. We have lost trust in everything since then. Back in a minute. All right, y'all, it is 2:57. Storm Restoration Roofing. It's good to have a good roofer in your life. We're going to be a little more rain-free than we have been this week. There are chances tomorrow, but a little less so, and we do need some drying out. But they're all kind of storm seasons. There's not one storm season here in Alabama, so we've still got to watch out for the tropics. And then before you know it, with the changing over to winter, it's that secondary storm season. So y'all, just later, I'm going to give you a phone number here in just a few minutes to jot down somewhere. Be careful driving. Pay attention to the road. But put this number somewhere because eventually, even if you're good to go right now, you could need Greg Nelson and Storm Restoration. I am qualifying them for you right now. This is a top-notch company. Greg's been doing this almost 30 years. He's got his whole family involved. They're good with all of it. Obviously, the install work, the quality of the work itself, but their competence level on dealing with insurance claims, even helping you get financed if you've got a big deal payment out-of-pocket situation where you need some financing in that moment. It's always a sinking feeling when you got to spend a lot of money on a home repair or something like that. But if it is storm related, Greg will help you just navigate that process, get you all dried in and tarped up, until they can get your project done, especially if we have a big situation. And you can trust that it'll be done right when he does it. I'll tell you what, I'm doing a little bit of an extension on the house, doing a little construction. Been talking a lot about it because a lot of our sponsors are going to come along, and I'm going to be their client as well. And when I know that when you're doing anything like this, there are going to be fits and starts. And so between the weather and a couple of other disappointments, we've had some setbacks on the timeline. All I know is by the time I get to Greg's part, when he comes to put the roof on, I ain't going to worry about it that day. I know he'll show up. I know it'll be done right. It's in good hands. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. 205, here comes that number, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. Storm Restoration Roofing. All right, let's do the top of the hour news. We'll come back. There's so many things. I got a long list of things to chat about today. Haven't even had a chance to get to all of them yet. That's why we got such a long show. We'll get there. And the breaking stuff when it happens, too. Lead on Live, talking at M5, back in a minute.